Okay, and now I'm going to share my screen. Just a moment. Yes, can everybody see my screen? Can all of you see my screen? Yes? Okay, perfect. So the topic, as mentioned, is how to teach your child. And I would just like to add one more line to it: how to teach your child without any stress, without feeling any pressure. If you are feeling any pressure, then you're definitely doing something wrong, because this has to be a effortless process, because the best learning happens in a happy environment, or environment that is stress free. And that's what learning is all about, and that's what we're going to talk about today. But before we start, some of you know my journey, some of you don't know me personally, and I would just like to give a small introduction about myself. And if you with your permission, so can I give my permission, can I give my introduction? If I can, please type yes. And yes. So, yes, thank you for your permission. So, this is my journey. I'm born and brought up in Kolkata. I got a master's degree in economics from Cambridge and LSE. Then I started my own exclusive knitwear apparel brand in 2013, and I sold to over 5 lakh clients in just 2 years. Got married in 2015, shifted base to Gurgaon, worked with a startup called Roposo for 6 months and realized that it wasn't my thing. Then I started my own designer fashion apparel brand called Riddhi and Devika in year 2015. Now in 2017, I became mother to an amazing son. I started writing content about parenting in 2017. And currently, I'm on a mission to help 100,000 parents live a happy, holistic, and spiritual life. I'm a true believer in karma, and I'm grounded in spirituality. So that's a little about me. And how did I actually start my journey as a parenting influencer, and now started creating products on parenting. So it's a very small story that I like to share with you. So I follow Nichiren Buddhism, and I was in one of my discussion meetings, and the topic for the discussion meeting was the importance of sharing your experience as a parent with other parents, or other mothers out there. And throughout the meeting, I kept thinking about sharing my experience as a mother with other mothers going through a similar journey. I just didn't know how to start and where to start. So I come back home, and in the evening, I discuss it with my husband that I really wish to sort of share my journey with other mothers. And he instantly encouraged me to do so through Instagram. But I'm a very, very shy person, and I take a lot of time to sort of open up. And that's why I felt that being an Instagram influencer was definitely not my thing. And I just didn't like the idea of doing it through Instagram. So my husband, he turned this into a bet. He said that we'll do one thing: we'll keep your profile open just for one night. And if you get more than 500 followers the next day, we'll keep it public. And if you don't, you can close it, and then we can think of another way of sharing your experience. I was so sure that I'm going to lose this bet. And that's why I went ahead with it. But when I woke up the next day in the morning, I was in a shock, because I had some more than 800 followers on Instagram, and that is still the biggest one day jump in the follower count that I've seen till date. So I had to keep my profile open, and then I started sharing my experience as a mother, my small personal episodes with me, how I felt as a parent, the struggles that I went through, the lessons that I learned. And it was amazing the way other mothers resonated with what I shared. And I feel that if you're very honest about what you do and what you feel, people start to resonate with you. And that's exactly what happened with me. And from writing content about parenting, not like really long back, I'm now creating products on parenting. And it's been a beautiful journey, and I'm really committed to my mission, and of helping 100,000 parents live a happy, holistic, and spiritual life. So that's a little about me and how this whole thing started. I feel I attracted this into my life by thinking about it really, really strongly. So that's like one message for you. If you really want something, you think about it and you keep thinking about it, and you will definitely attract that into your life. There is nothing that can stop you from getting what you want if you really, really want it. And sometimes you don't really need to do something, you can just think about it. Action is important, but sometimes if you're really strongly convinced you want to do it, then you will find a way to do it. So that's, and yes, of course, take down notes like I already mentioned. Please have your pens, notepads, and everything ready. And please type in the comment section below, type yes if you have your notepads and pens ready. Please type yes if you have everything ready. Yes, good. So now we can start. If you don't have it, please grab it. That's very, very important. Let me just minimize this. Yeah. So the first very important thing that you need to do is to plan your day. Now, planning a day is a very independent, unique thing. Like a lot of mothers, they call me or they text me on Instagram or on other platforms, on email. They send me an email and ask me, how do I plan my day? What is it that I do? But trust me, my plan is not going to work for you. And your plan is not going to work for me, because everybody has their own lifestyle. We have our own setup, we have our own professional and personal commitments. Some of us are living in a nuclear setup, some of us are living in a joint family setup, some of us have a bigger support system, some of us don't have a very great support system. So your plan is going to be unique to you, and that is something that you have to figure out. For myself, I don't plan a lot of things, but like as far as my child is concerned, I only plan his sleep time and his meal times, and I keep everything else in between very flexible, because I believe that if you make your plan really rigid and very difficult to follow, you'll not be able to sustain it for really long. So make sure you have a plan, but your plan should also be sustainable and should be easy to follow. It should not be very, very difficult. Now, lessen distraction. This is very, very, very important, because these days we buy so many toys, so many crayons, so many different activity books, and different drawing books, sticker activity, puzzles. There are so many things that we expose our children to, and sometimes it becomes very confusing for the child to decide what it is that the child really wants to learn. So it's very important that, let's say in a day, if you want your child to learn 5 new words, you want to expose your child to blocks or a few activities, you only expose your child to those things and you pack away all the other things. So don't put like 100,000 things in front of him and expect him to learn just 2, 3 things. That's not going to happen, because he's going to waste a lot. He or she's going to waste a lot of time deciding what they want to pick and understanding what is it that they want to learn and understand. So it becomes very, very difficult for the child. So it's very important that you minimize the distraction, keep the space clean, and keep only a few things around them. Don't, like, throw a lot of things on them, because it becomes very difficult for them to understand what is it that they should pick. So don't give them too many options, that's what I mean. And reduce or eliminate exposure to phone or screen time. Again, this is a question that I've been constantly asked, that my child is wanting the phone all the time, wants to watch the television all the time. But this is something that you have to be very strict about. It's okay giving screen time, like I'm not very fussy, I give him 30 to 40 minutes of screen time almost every day, but it's like at a fixed slot. I just don't randomly hand him my phone or give him access to television whenever he wants. 30 minutes fixed time during the day he can watch television, and mostly I never give him my phone. It's on the television that I show him whatever it is that he wants to see. So this is something that you have to control. It's out of sight, out of mind. If you as a parent are exposing your child to these things, then you cannot really blame your child for using the phone or watching the screen, because obviously they'll get access to it only if you make it available to them. But if you don't, then they'll never get access to it, and then your problem is going to be solved. So it's more about disciplining yourself and removing it from their sight. So once you do that, you'll see that your child will have a proper. So it's basically, you have to first create a proper environment for learning even before the learning begins. So the way to do that is to first plan your day, and the second is to lessen distractions and to create an environment where you can actually encourage your child to learn and absorb new things. So it's very important to have a clean environment, distraction free environment for the child, even before you throw in activities and toys and different things that you want to expose your child to. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is, and whatever questions you have, please make a note of those questions. I'll be answering all your questions towards the end of this session. And I'll try to answer as many questions as I can, depending on the time that we have. Change it up. Sometimes, what I mean by change it up is sometimes your plan is so difficult to follow that you completely burn out and then you give up. So you make your routine so difficult that you end up doing nothing. And so it's more of, it's actually the consistency that's more important than the intensity. So have a simple plan, but try and be consistent about it. Don't make a very difficult plan that you cannot follow or do it consistently. So I'll give you a very small example. Let's say a lot of people, like a lot of us after pregnancy, we are on this journey to lose weight. But when people call me and they ask me, how do I lose weight? I don't get any time. I can't go for a jog for half an hour, 35 minutes at a stretch. I have to be with my baby. So I tell them, who's asking you to go for a run for 35 minutes? Just do it for 15 minutes, but make sure you do it every day, because they're thinking of not being able to find 35 minutes. They're not even stepping out for 5 minutes. So don't make big plans and end up doing nothing. It's better to make small plans and to take action rather than doing nothing. So make a plan that's a little flexible, that's a little sustainable, and then you execute it. And I'm going to tell you what is the plan that really works for most of us. It really works for me. And I've been able to teach my son a lot, and I've been able to do a lot of things on the side while being able to teach him. And the system, this is a system that I've built myself, and it really works. I've seen the difference in him, and that's what I want to share with you today. But before I get there, this is one thing that all of us as parents should know, that our expectations have to be realistic. Have realistic expectations. Please do not expect your children to sit in one place for 1 hour and learn and do activities or do their home assignments or coloring and activity sheets. Kids are not going to give you 1 hour of undivided attention. Some kids might, that's a very rare case, but most kids, you cannot expect them to sit with you for an hour at a stretch. So what you have to do is you have to change your actions in order to get different results. If you keep doing the same thing again and again, and if you keep expecting the same thing again and again, you're going to get the same results. So if you want different results, please, you have to change your strategy, you have to change your actions, and that's what we are going to discuss. So the system that I follow is basically, you need to find 10 slots of 10 minutes each with your child, and in between each slot you have enough time for yourself, and the baby has enough time for free play, self play, and whatever that the child wants to do. So you just need to find 10 minutes, 10 slots of 10 minutes each, so that's 100 minutes. So that's like 1 hour 40 minutes. So that's a lot of time, that's a lot of quality productive time that you're spending with your child. And if your child is anywhere between 0 to 5 years of age, I feel it's ideal. Like, you don't need to spend more than 1 hour 40 minutes of productive quality time teaching your child in a day, but you really need to have these slots in installments and not keep it really long. So if you think that this is a nice strategy and you're excited to hear more about this strategy, please type excited. And I'm going to keep asking you to do this, because then you're going to be busy and you're going to be engaged, and you'll not get bored. So please type excited in the comment section. So the first slot in your day should be 5 new words a day. So this is very, very good. This is a very good exercise because it really helps to build the vocabulary of your child, increases the word bank balance that your child has. And when they know and understand words, they understand instructions, and it becomes very easy for you to communicate with your child. So 5 new words every day. Do this the first thing in the morning, because what's the benefit of doing it in the morning is that when you do it in the morning, you repeat those words throughout the day. Whenever you're talking to the child, you use it in different sentences, or you try and talk to your child about those things, and you're constantly reminding and recapping those words in your child's memory, and it's going to stay with him forever. So it's very important that you do that. And I have this video series that I show him to introduce him to 5 new words. And but you can actually just go to Google, make a list of 5 words that you want to introduce your child to. And if you're okay with screen time, then you can actually show him those images on your phone. And some words, they are better explained with the help of a video. Let's say I was teaching my son this word called earthquake the other day. So if you just show him like a static picture, it's not enough. It doesn't actually explain what an earthquake is. So it's better if you use a video to support the word and to explain what it really means. So do this 5 new words every day, and when you go to sleep, you'll feel so good as a parent. And just 10 minutes, and by 10 minutes I don't mean that your child has to sit on a table with you to learn these 5 new words. Even if the child is running around or is coming to you for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, you can just introduce and throw in those words and tell your child these new words and introduce it consciously. So unconsciously, they are learning anyway. They are picking up a lot of words unconsciously, and their word bank is increasing. In fact, they're picking up an entire new language as they grow. But consciously, if you put in these 5 new words every day, it's a very, very good exercise and very, very effective. So do this. This is the first slot of 10 minutes. The second slot is reading. Reading a book is very, very important. This is the best exercise that you can do with your child. It's the best gift that you can give your child. It encourages so many things: creativity, language, communication, vocabulary, and they are more aware of what's happening around them. They are more aware of the things around them. So, reading is the best gift, I feel. But reading also, you have to do it in a certain way. So sometimes parents get in touch with me and they tell me that my child is not reading, he does not enjoy reading at all. When I sit with a book, my child just runs away, he doesn't want to listen. So see, number one, the first problem that could be is your child is not understanding the language. So if you're reading a book in English and if your child is not understanding English properly, you have to first explain the story to your child in the language that he or she understands. So if it's Hindi that you're using at home, then read the story in Hindi. Don't do like, you can read it in English, but tell the entire plot to your child in Hindi or Bengali, Marathi, Tamil, whatever it is that you're using at home, so that your child understands about the different characters, what's happening in the plot, and then you read the book in English, and then your child can actually connect the two pieces. Imagine if somebody comes and reads a book to you in Spanish, you will be completely lost and you will be disinterested even at this age. So you cannot expect a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old to give you complete attention when they are not even following the language. So first, narrate the whole story in the language that they understand, and then you read it out in English. That's first. And some kids, they don't like to sit in one place, so they're not going to sit with you and listen to the whole story. So they don't always have to see the book when you're reading a book to them. What you can do is you can read the story yourself and you can just tell them the story while they're running, playing, or while you're feeding them lunch. You can just tell them the entire story yourself, even without like the book, because some kids are don't like books, the whole idea of books, and they don't want to be around books. And that's completely fine, because kids are very honest. They don't pretend and they don't fake about what they like and what they don't like. If they don't like something, they'll just be very honest about it and they'll just not show any interest. So your whole aim is to actually read this book to your child, and you can do that by actually showing him the book or not showing him the book, but by just telling the story to your child. So read a book, that's very, very important. Third is color one picture. Just one picture. Don't give like 100 pictures. Ki let's sit and color, or give like a full coloring book. So what I do is I draw something on a blank piece of paper myself, like an apple or a mango or anything, like one object you can just draw. And And that's something that you can ask your child to color. And my son, when he started coloring, he was really impatient. He did not color properly at all, and as a parent I did go through that feeling whether he'll be able to color or not, because this is my first time as well as a parent, and I'd go through similar experiences as you do. But I've seen a phenomenal improvement over the past 5 6 months. Every day you repeat the same thing, you will see the difference, you will see your child improving. And I've seen it, and now he's coloring absolutely within the lines, and he's making a border and everything. So patience is something that you really need. Like, you cannot expect them to be like amazing at coloring the first time you draw an object for them. So a lot of us get very impatient. Bahar kyun nikala? Why is it going out? Why is it not inside the border? Why are you scribbling? Color properly. There's a lot of white space. Don't do that. Just encourage them and keep telling them that yes, you're getting better. You're doing it amazing. You're just improving every day. And this day today it's all within the line. Today it's less white. So the more you encourage them, the more they'll perform. If you keep discouraging them or if you keep correcting them, you're actually putting this message in their head that coloring is something that they are not good at, and coloring is something that they cannot do, and that is not something that you want. So don't do that. And put positive messages in their mind, like you can do it, you're very good at it, I know you can do it, and you'll see the difference, and they'll do it again. Just 10 minutes, okay? Remember, this is the key. 10 minutes, and then you take a break. Even you as a parent cannot sit with your child for 2 hours. You should not, because even you need to recharge and feel productive about the whole process, and you have to do this without feeling stressed. And this is very important for those who are living in a joint family. Every 1 hour 2 hour you can definitely find a 10-minute slot for your baby. It's not very difficult to find 10 minutes. So even if you're cooking, or even if you are entertaining other guests in your house, you can take a 10-minute break and do one activity with your child. So this is the third activity. The fourth is free scribbling on a white canvas. Just give your child, and these slots can be really well spaced. They don't have to be like back to back. There has to be enough gap between each slot. That's the whole idea of breaking this into different slots. Free scribbling on a white canvas. Just give like a white sheet of paper, pens, crayons to your child, and let them scribble and do whatever it is that they want to. Sometimes kids don't like to scribble. Some kids don't want to, they're not interested, they don't want to hold the crayon or the pen. In that case, what you can do is you can actually ask your child what he or she would like to draw, and you can draw it for the child, and your child can just be watching you doing it. So by watching also they learn a lot. Like my son, he's learned most of it by watching me. Initially when I started off, I used to scribble for him, and now he's scribbling on his own. So it's important that you give them this access to a free sheet of paper. Let them scribble, and please don't stop them from creating a mess. Find a corner in your house where they're allowed to create mess. Because if you try to keep the place like clean, and you stop them that don't drop paint, don't drop crayons, don't drop pieces of paper, you're actually stopping them from learning. So don't try to correct them and teach them at the same time. So find a spot where they can actually create a mess, and then you can clean up later. So let them do that. Give them that freedom and flexibility, because that's how learning will happen. So free scribbling on white canvas, that's the fourth activity. The fifth, blocks, puzzles, and toys. Blocks are it's like a beautiful toy. I think it's amazing. The amount your kid can learn from blocks is phenomenal. Like like building tall towers, building broad base, building different some said shed, because my son is always drawing sheds. So building fences, there's so much. And you can actually build an entire story with blocks. And the first few times you can actually do it with your child, to actually put those ideas in their head that you can do so much with blocks. You can actually build tall structures, wide structures, you can build sheds, and a lot of things that you can do with blocks. And then you can actually allow them to do it themselves. So don't do it with them all the time. Maybe the first few times you can, to just give them an idea about how it really works. Even puzzles, very good. I think puzzles, I think good age is after 2 years. It's a good age to introduce them to puzzles. But if it's like a 4-piece puzzle, even like sooner you could introduce. A very very good activity. and toys that they like. Some kids are fond of dinosaurs, cars, and whatever toys that they are really fond of. So 10 minutes you engage with them with their toys, so you have to show, you have to tell them that you are also interested in the things that they are interested in. You have to build that relationship with your child. So yeah, definitely they are going to spend a lot of time with the toys that they like, but you as a parent should also spend a lot of time with the toys that they like. By lot I mean just 10 minutes a day, because then you'll actually sort of tell them that you are, just 1 minute, I'm not being able to see the comments, and I think a lot of people are texting because I'm getting these pop-ups. So whatever questions you guys have, please keep it towards the end. I'm going to try and answer all the questions that you have. So, ma'am, what are the age that we should start these activities? I'm going to take these questions in the end, because otherwise it's going to be very distracting for me and the whole flow is going to go for a toss. So, 10 minutes with block, puzzles, and toys. And yeah, so what was I saying? I was saying that engage with the toys that they are interested in, because when you show that you are interested in the things that they are interested in, they are interested in you. So it's like a whole cycle, like why are they so fond of their friends? Because their friends like to engage with them and like to talk about their toys, and that's why they are so fond of their friends. So as a parent you should also do the same. So my son is very very fond of cows, so every day 10 minutes I spend with him talking about his cows, different cows. What did he do with like he has 10-15 rubber cows, so I just talk about it, like what did he do with his cows. So that's what you have to do with your child for just 10 minutes. Slot 6 is 10 minutes of writing. Writing also, focus on one thing. So if you are introducing letter A of the English alphabet, then, just focus on letter A. Don't do A, B, C, D, everything on one day. It's going to become too much for them. It's going to become too much for you to handle, because after some time they'll not be interested and you will get very irritated and you will start to lose your patience. So don't do anything that's actually going to make you lose your patience. So just do one letter or do one number, or if you're doing a shape, then just one shape, draw along the dotted line. And like slowly, like after a few months, when you see that they've learned a lot and they've progressed, you will not have to sit with them to actually encourage them to do those things. They'll be doing it by themselves on their own, and you will have to actually stop them from doing it. They'll be wanting to do it because once they know they can do it, they are really enthusiastic and energetic about doing it. The whole point is that you have to first show them that they can do it, and the way to show them that they can do it is to do small amount every day instead of doing a lot in one day. So just 10 minutes of writing and whatever it is that you want to do. Then 10 minutes for asking questions. This is a very, very powerful activity, and this usually works for kids who are more than 2 years of age. Like if you're less than that, if your child can speak like in sentences, it works. A few words, maybe you can ask. So, what I've started doing with my son recently is ask him like questions, very general questions, like, what fruit is green from outside and red from the inside? Which fruit has just one seed? What fruit has seeds on the outside, and what planet do we live on, and which is the planet that's closest to the sun, what planet has rings around it. So very basic questions. What number comes after 5 orally, like, and you 10 minutes is like a lot. You can ask a lot of questions, so you have to actually prepare these questions, and that is something that you have to do. You can actually use your phone also, but it's a bad idea to actually look at questions on your phone and then ask, because then they might want your phone. So don't do that. Just think of a few questions randomly and ask them. So this really encourages them to learn new things and encourages them to think. What animal has one horn? And those kind of arguments. What animal, which animal gives us milk? Where does a cow live? So it can be a mix of all those questions. So use those questions and ask your child these questions every day for 5 to 10 minutes. It's very very effective, and they are very curious, And you'll be amazed when you ask them questions. They'll ask you questions and you might not have answers to some of those questions, and you'll actually have to go to Google and find answers to those questions. So you'll also be learning a lot in this whole process. I've learned a lot in the past few months, so I'm sure you'll also learn, and it's going to be a beautiful experience. Then 10 minutes, seventh slot. So you've already done 60 minutes of productive activity. And trust me, you will not even realize it because you are only spending 10 minutes with your child at a time. At a stretch, it's just 10 minutes that you're spending. But those 10 minutes are quality productive time. So it's always the quality that matters and not the quantity. So, if you agree with this, please type agree in the comment section that it's quality and not quantity that matters. And this is very important for working mothers who feel that they're not being able to spend a lot of time with their children. And they feel that, they feel very guilty that, like I'm working and I'm not giving enough time to my child. But trust me, I've seen this, like working mothers actually end up giving more quality time to their children, because they are already they are always under this pressure of not giving time, and they try and fit in a lot of quality time for their children. So it's always quality and not quantity that matters. So you've done 60 minutes of quality productive time with your child, and that's amazing. And it's very easy to follow this plan irrespective of what kind of family setup you are in, irrespective of whether you have a big support system or a small support system. You can always find 10 minutes after every few hours for your child. Then seventh slot is 10 minutes of clay art or play-doh. So, mud play, free play, water play. So those are also activities that you can actually add to this list. So I've been doing actually clay art and play-doh with my son. So you can make different things like different shapes, different animals, butterfly, and mushrooms. So simple things you can make, and through this play-doh and clay art, you can actually introduce new words to your child as well. So you can make things that yeah, you're right. I'll delete that slide. Thanks, that was a good observation. So and 10 minutes for clay art and play-doh. So this is also very important. And this can also include like free play, like water play, and different activities where the child is creative and having a lot of fun and enjoying his time with you. So do this. Then eighth slot is 10 minutes for oral counting, phonics, and letters of the English alphabet. This is oral. No paper, no pen, no fixed spot required. Wherever you are, you can just do this activity. 10 minutes. Like I do this with my son, and it's very effective. So one day when we are eating lunch or we are just sitting, I just talk to him and I like, what is the sound that letter A makes? Can you tell me a few words with the letter A? Can you count from 1 to 20 for me? And what letter comes after the letter A? So those kind of activities also are really effective, and it's all oral, and kids are usually very engaged when it's oral and there's nothing written or activity driven or book driven. When you're just talking to them, they really engage with you properly, and they will respond for sure. So do 10 minutes of oral counting, phonics, and letters. And you can actually increase the difficulty level based on the age group of your child. So what I've prepared is for 0 to 5 years of age, but if your child is older, you can actually increase the difficulty level of the questions that you're asking and the uh, information that you're communicating to your child. So that will actually depend on the age group that your child is in. So you can do rhyming words. If your child is like 5 to 6 years old, you can do rhyming words. You can give one word, like you can tell your child, let's say tall, and you can ask your child, can you give me 5 other words that rhyme with the word tall? So it could be those different things. Yes, actually, I'll just forward this presentation to you guys if you want, and so you'll have everything. Don't worry, just pay attention to this presentation right now. And slot 9 is music and dance. Again, very important. Nursery rhyme, dance. Dance is very important for gross gross skills of the babies. So you have to focus on both gross and motor skills. And so you have to do a lot of free play, like running around, dancing, music, jumping. So 10 minutes for that. It could be more also, because this, kids can go on and on dancing and listening to music. So 10 minutes is what I have planned, because to make it easy for you. But if you feel you have more time and you can give more time to your child, and your child is really enjoying himself, then you can actually exceed 10 minutes and spend more time in this activity. So this is the ninth thing. And the 10th, which is the final. So these two things I've kept during the end, for the end, because like, they are exhausted after music and dancing, they're exhausted. So it's easy for them to go off to sleep if they're exhausted in the evening. So I usually keep dance and music for late evening, and then dinner, and then 10 minutes of reading or storytelling. So before he goes to bed, again I give like a nice story to him with a good message, and that's the last and the final slot for the day. And so these are 10 slots, and you have covered everything from oral, music, writing, new words, vocabulary, reading books. You have put in everything in this plan, and trust me, you will not feel that you're doing anything. You will not feel any pressure, and you will not want your child to sit for 2 hours, because that's going to be very difficult for you as a parent too, not just for the child, but even for the parent it becomes very difficult. And sometimes what happens, because we want our kids to sit for 2 hours, and if there is something happening in the house and we are like, how will I find 2 hours for my child today, where will I find this time, it's so difficult, I'm not being able to give quality time to my child because I'm always with the guests, or I'm always in the kitchen, I'm always attending to other things at home, and that's the reason why I'm not being able to teach my child. There's always so much disturbance around me, there's no good support system, and that's why. So all these constant complaints that you have will disappear. So this is very, very effective. It has worked for me, it has worked for all the mothers that I've recommended. They have seen the benefit, and I'm sure you will see the benefit, provided you take action and you implement this. So what I do usually is I maintain an Excel sheet, so there can be 10 rows, sorry, no, there can be 30 rows, and there'll be 10 columns. So the first column will be the first activity, reading, 5 new words, then it'll be reading, coloring, painting. So those 10 activities, and then you can actually, before, like one day before, you can decide the 5 new words that you want to introduce your child to. You can just fill it up there. So if you really want it to be very systematic, and if you want it, like I really like to plan everything, so I put it on an Excel sheet, but that's also not compulsory. You don't have to necessarily put it on an Excel sheet. You can just have it, like you can just remember the slots that you have to follow, and you do it. And for those of you who want the Excel sheet, I'll share my Excel sheet with you. And these are 10 slots. So 1 hour, 40 minutes of productive quality time you're spending with your child, and your child is going to learn a lot every single day. This is a plan that is very sustainable, very easy to follow, not difficult at all. And as a parent, when you go to sleep, you will feel very content, very, very satisfied that you did this for your child, and you will not feel guilty. That's the most important, because more than teaching, as parents we feel so guilty that today I did not teach my child anything, or today I did not do anything that was productive, or my child did not learn anything new. But if you follow this plan, and even if you skip a few slots, it's completely okay. Even if you manage to do 6 out of 10 slots, 60 minutes, your child is definitely learning something. Forget 60, even if 30 minutes, your child is going to learn something. So it's going to be, this is a completely guilt free, easy to implement strategy. And this works irrespective of the setup that you're in, irrespective of whether you're in a joint setup or a nuclear setup. It always works, provided you want to make it work. There's always this disclaimer that there has to be some effort from your end as well. But if that is there, which I'm sure it's going to be there, because on a Sunday evening you guys are here watching this presentation, which means that you are really committed as parents, and you really want to see that difference. And if you follow this system, I'm 110% sure, not just 100, 110% sure, you're going to see that difference. So, and this again, this is not a slot, but this is a constant thing that should be there. Involve your child in the day to day chores, whatever daily activities that you're doing, cooking in the kitchen, washing clothes, folding clothes. Even if you are not doing it yourself, if you have helps who are doing it for you, let them get involved in the whole process and contribute towards the house irrespective of their age. Let them get involved. It gives them a feeling of ownership and responsibility, and it really helps them. So when I'm in the kitchen, I always ask my son Veer to help me. I'll tell him, pass me two potatoes. So I've introduced the concept of counting there. Pass me two potatoes. So I'm teaching him vegetables also. I'm teaching him how to follow instructions. I'm teaching him how to count the potatoes. So there is so much that you're teaching your child without even realizing that you're teaching your child these things. In fact, Veer has learned counting in the kitchen, I feel. Like I always tell him, pass me 5 onions. And if he'll give me one extra, I'll give one back to him. And I'll be like, no, this is six. I just wanted five. So it's very very easy. So just involve, and like a lot of us have this whole idea ki, don't come into the kitchen, don't disturb me. They don't always necessarily disturb you. They can actually help you, provided you let them help you. So you have to actually allow them to help you, and when you do that, you'll see that your child is going to learn a lot. Treat them like an adult. I think I've mentioned that also. Give instructions and give them give instructions and a feeling of responsibility. Like small things. Can you switch off the light? Can you turn on the light? Can you pass me my notebook? Can you get my charger for me? So it's not like you're making them work. It's just that you're encouraging them to do things, and you will see the smile on their face when they do it properly. And when you tell them, yes, you're so good at following instructions, you're helping me so much these days. And they'll feel so proud and so happy when you do that. And I've seen this with my son. So every time I want something, I get up to get my charger. He's like, no, no, you please sit, I'm going to go get your charger for you. So now I feel really relaxed, actually, more than feeling stressed and worked out. So he's helps me a lot these days. And I think he does that because I have actually allowed him to touch my things. I've allowed him to pass me things. I've trusted him with different things. So when you trust them with your things, they are going to actually be able to follow instructions and do things properly. And these small things that they do in everyday life is what really helps them learn a lot. All this ABCD and numbers countings, that's a very natural thing. It's going to happen. You're going to send your children to school. What is the school going to do? They are forced to teach them numbers. The school is forced to teach them letters of the English alphabet. So even if you fail at doing that, your child is still going to learn how to speak in English. Your child is still going to learn how to read the numbers, write the numbers, and communicate properly. Because those things. But these small things, like the sense of ownership, sense of responsibility, the ability to follow instructions, the feeling of helping out, being kind, these are the true lessons that you really want to instill in your child. And that is going to happen only if you trust your child and if you feel that your child can actually do those things for you. So the problem is not with them, but it's with us, because we fail to trust them. If something is made of glass, we like, don't pass, it's going to break, गिर जाएगा, by the time he comes it's going to break. But if you tell them properly that this is made of glass, you have to hold it properly and make sure you bring it to me safely, it's not going to break. So you have to actually show that trust and put that trust in them. So please do that. And I want you to type will do in the comments if you are going to trust your child and you're going to let them do different things around the house. Please type will do in the comment section. I love the energy. I love the fact that you guys are so engaged, and it's amazing. And yes, I've already mentioned this. Treat your child like an adult. When you communicate with your child, communicate like you're communicating with an adult. Don't, treat them like kids, and don't try to boss around and try to, get them to do things that you feel is correct. Let them have a say. Let them actually be expressive and tell you what is it that they like doing, what is it that they don't like doing. So treat them like an adult. Imagine if your mother-in-law, okay, like that's the classic example, okay, if your mother-in-law comes to you, you'll be so mindful about what you say. You'll really hold yourself back. You'll think 100 times before you speak, and you'll be very careful that she does not get offended. But when it comes to our children, we are like, we just say anything and everything without thinking. We just treat them like nobody, like, because we know that they're going to come back to us. And like, we know that they love us unconditionally. No matter what we say or do, they're going to eventually come back to us. But that's not a very good strategy, because that can only work for a certain number of years. But after that, they are not going to come back to you if you continue this. But if you have this habit of speaking like that, habits are very difficult to change. So if you build this habit, it's not going to be easy for you to change your expectations or the way you communicate, but it's going to be very easy for them to change their reactions. Because when they are small, they're at your mercy. They have to come to you because they can't do things on their own. But when they're older, they'll be able to do everything on their own, and they'll not need you for everything. So if you want that love and respect from your child, you have to give them the love and respect that they deserve. You have to speak to them that like they're an adult, and you should not like sort of boss around or tell them to do things your way. Let them have their own say, and let them take responsibility for their own actions. It's okay if they make mistakes. Let them realize that they've made a mistake. Let them apologize for the same, but do it in a kind way. So there's that's a completely separate topic, so I'm not going to get there. That's like about hero method of communicating with your child. That's like honesty, empathy, responsibility. If you have these three elements in the way you communicate, you'll get the desired outcome in your child. So that's a completely different topic. Probably I'll do another webinar on this. So, and last is write it down. So you can have a journal where you can track your progress. You can see how your child is improving. So like, it's very easy to do this with the coloring activity. So you can have day one on every sheet. You can actually put days. So day one, day two, day three, day four, and every day on day, if you compare the coloring from day between coloring of day one with day 30, you will see a phenomenal difference. Like, there's going to be a huge difference in the way they color. So it's very important that you actually keep a track of their progress. But again, like, if you are not being able to maintain an Excel or a journal, please don't stress. These are only points and ideas. If you can implement these easily, you must. If you can't implement it, please don't stress about it. You Parenting is all about being happy, relaxed, enjoying your child. They are like so beautiful, and you can learn so much from your child. In fact, I did like a YouTube video where I've spoken about the things that you can actually learn from your child. So if you have an open mind, you will actually be learning a lot from them rather than teaching them all the time. So don't feel like you are the teacher in this relationship, and if it's not like a one-way traffic, it's like a two-way thing where you can actually learn a lot from them, provided you submit yourself to them and you don't have this feeling of authority, or feeling that you are a boss of, or this controlling nature that most of us as parents do have. So if you don't have that, you'll actually see that your child will keep coming back to you, and they'll want to learn from you. They'll want to discuss things with you. They'll be very open with you, and it'll be very easy for them to be honest with you. They'll not be hiding things from you, because they'll understand that you're not going to judge them. But if you're constantly correcting them, you're giving them the signals that my parent is always judging me. And then it's going to become very difficult for them to sort of open up and have an open, honest conversation with you. So don't judge them. Always give them options to decide what is best for them. You could tell them, this is what I feel is correct for you. But if you think this is correct for you, that's your call, because it's your life. So let them decide what's best. You can, as a parent, give them direction and guidance, but don't decide for them. And this is obviously for younger kids also, but for older kids like teens, I think this is very important. And I was very lucky to have parents who have never ever forced me to do anything, and they've always given me options, and they've left the choice to me. They've asked me to make the choice. and they've never forced me to make a choice. And I think this really works well both for the parent and for the child, because as a child you feel that whatever you're doing is your choice, and as a parent you don't have to be under pressure or the burden for making a choice for your child, because your choices can also go wrong as a parent. So that's very important, and the best learning happens in a stress free environment. So give a happy nurturing environment to your child, and your child is going to learn automatically even without you trying to teach your child a lot. Children are very very smart, very intelligent. They have amazing focus, amazing memory, very clear mind, very, and they're not distracted. If you tell kids a few things, they'll remember it forever. I forget names like anything, but if I read a book to my son with different characters, he remembers most of the names in the book. But I forget. But so that's what I'm trying to say, that kids are very smart and they understand and they have a very, very powerful memory. So you just have to have these positive thoughts about your child, that my child is very smart, my child is learning, I'm learning from my child. So if you have these positive thoughts and if you are putting these positive messages in their mind, you are going to see the result in them. They're going to learn very very fast, and you are not going to feel any stress. So the simpler the system, the more sustainable it is. So the system that I've shared with you today, it's very, very simple to implement and execute. And because it is so simple, it's very sustainable. You'll not feel any pressure, and it'll be very easy for you to follow this system even when you're traveling. Forget like inside the house, even when you're traveling, it is such a simple system that even when you're on the go, you can follow the system. Like you are in the car, you can teach 5 new words to your child. You can do those oral things in the car. When you're in your room, you can do coloring, 10 minutes coloring. So even if you're on the go, you can actually follow this system. So it's a system that works for everyone in every setup. So this is something that you should really, I really encourage each one of you to try this system. And if and I also would like to hear from you after a month, maybe. So after it can be like an experiment that you have, like maybe you can start tomorrow or maybe after a few days, and you can track the progress over 1 month, and then you can actually come back to me with your feedback and tell me whether you've actually seen the results in your child and in yourself as a parent, whether you are less stressed and whether you're happier as a parent because you're feeling that you're contributing productively to your child's overall development. So I really would love that feedback from you. So that's about the system. So it's basically 10 slot 10-minute system that I've built, and this system I built for myself, but because it worked really well for me and also for a set of parents, I thought I'll do this webinar and I'll share the system with all the other mothers, because so many of you DM me on Instagram and send me emails, and also on my WhatsApp group I get so many messages about kids not learning or kids not paying attention or kids not wanting to learn. But trust me, kids are going to learn if you follow the system, and they'll not even realize that they're learning, and you'll not even realize that you're teaching. So this is the beauty of the system and this strategy that I've shared with you. So that's about it. And before I end, I just want to, this is not a sales webinar, so I'm not going to sell anything, but I would just like to tell you about the different products that please show me the first 3 slots. Okay, I'll just quickly recap. I'm not going to explain, but I'm going to tell you what the different slots are. So if you want to make a note, you can please make a note of the different slots. So slot 1 is 5 new words a day. Second slot is read a book to your child. Third is color one picture. That's very important. One, just one, not 100. Fourth is free scribbling on white canvas. Fifth is 10 minutes with blocks, puzzles, and toys. Sixth slot is 10 minutes of writing. Again, just focus on one letter or one number. Just that's the sixth slot. And yeah, I've repeated this. So actually, I've given 11 slots, I think. So 10 minutes of asking questions. General questions you could ask your kid. 10 minutes for clay art and Play-Doh, then 10 minutes for oral counting, phonics and letters of the English alphabet. And this obviously the difficulty can change depending on the age of your child. Then music and dance is slot 9. And the last slot is again 10 minutes of reading or storytelling with your child. So these are the different slots, and then of course involve your child, give them a feeling of ownership, and treat them like adults, and track the progress. So this was what I really wanted to share with you. I hope if you've got like a lot of value from this webinar, and I've been able to do justice to the time that you've given me. If you've enjoyed this webinar and if you benefited from the same, I would like you to type loved it in the comment section. That would mean a lot. Thank you so much. So, and this is not a sales webinar, like I mentioned, but I just want to take your permission and introduce you to the few products that I've created. And if you think I can do that, can you just type product in the comment section so that I can go ahead and show you the different products that I've created? Okay, so I've created a lot of these digital products. So this all this we've done. So the first product that I've created is called Easy Parenting Formula. So I feel that it's very important for parents and mothers to first work on themselves, on their mindset and their attitude before they try to work on their kids and children. Before we start to work on our children, it's very important for us to work on our mindset and our attitude, and that's what this product is about. It talks about mindful parenting, active parenting, and hero method of communicating with your child. And when you actually go, and I think this is like a series of videos which every single parent or mother should definitely go through it, because it's going to make your life so simple, so easy. Your parenting journey is going to be so enriching, because you're not going to feel any pressure, and you'll be able to do so many things on the side if you can actually master your attitude and your mindset. So that's what this product talks about. Then 101 best books for kids. Okay, so a lot of people get confused. These are not 101 digital books that I'm offering. These are not 101 hard books that I'm offering. This is just a list of best books that you should read to your child, and I've also directed you to the resource, like the source from where you can actually order these books. So it's important to read books to our children, but it's also important that we read the correct books to our children. So instead of wasting time reading the wrong books, it's important that you get a list of the correct books that you must read, that's going to actually benefit your child, and it's going to be practical, because you're going to invest a lot of time reading books. So that's what 100 and best books for kids is about. Audio video flashcards. This is a series of 60 videos. Every video has 5 new words with sentences that you can actually introduce your child to. So this is how I actually show new words to read every morning. So every morning I show him one video. Every video has 5 words, and each video is just 2.5 minutes in duration. So I show it to him twice or thrice maximum. So that's still less than 10 minutes. And he has learned all these 300 words, and now I'm creating more words for him because he's already exhausted these 300 words. And it's a very very good way, because they learn the best when they listen. So the flashcards and the activities that we get, they're all visuals, but there's no audio. And it's very important for kids to get audio support as well, if you want them to actually speak those words and learn those words quicker and to engage with those words. So it's like an overall experience that you're creating for them by giving them audio, video, visuals, and a little background music. So that's audio, video, flashcards. Then phonics with words and sentences. So there are 44 sounds of phonics. This series includes only 26 sounds, because this is level 1. I'm planning to create another level where I'll be including all 44 sounds of phonics. But I feel that sometimes all 44 together can get very confusing for your child. So what I've done is I've tried to focus only on the main sounds of the letters of the English alphabet, and with every sound I have 11 words and 11 sentences. So this is a series with 26 videos. Every word has 11, every letter has 11 words and 11 sentences. Again, this is an audio video product. Then animals and their little ones. Where do animals live? This is very self-explanatory. Again, audio video. This is a series of 50 videos. Easy rhyming words. This is a new product that I created last month. So every month I'm trying to create at least one or two products for kids. So easy rhyming words. This is good for kids who are in between 5 to 6 years of age as well. With every word, I have 4 to 5 rhyming words, and with every word, there are sentences. So it's very important that you introduce your child not just to new words, but also encourage them how to use those words in sentences. So that's very, very important. So that's about sorry, easy rhyming words. Easy stress management, again, like a beautiful series of videos for mothers who go through a lot of stress. And even if you're not, but if you are aware of these things that are happening to you, you will see the stress from your life completely disappear. So obviously I also go through my phases of stress, but now after going through this series of videos, and I've been implementing the action steps that I've shared in this series for almost 3 years now, the stress level has gone down considerably, and I see myself being more productive and trying and able to create new things every single day, learn new things every single day. And like I said, the best learning happens when there is very little stress in your environment. So again, this product is focused on mothers and parents only. 100 and easy recipe. This is just one video where I talk about what kind of recipes you can try for your child. And there's a downloadable PDF of more than 300 pages where I've shared all the recipes that I've tried with my son and things that he really enjoys eating. Because sometimes as parents, it can be very easy to it can be very easy to make things, but it can be very difficult and challenging to decide what to make, because kids are so fussy, you don't understand what are the different things that you can try. So this is like a proper guide that can actually tell you that, okay, today I can try 1 2 3 things from this book, and tomorrow I can try 4 5 6 7 these things from. So it becomes very easy, and again, it's a way of reducing stress because you're not wasting time thinking about what to make. That you have this plan, and you can just see what you can make. And these are very easy recipes. You don't need a lot of things from the market. Very simple home recipes. Some recipes are fancy, but you can choose not to try those. Then pregnancy weight management. Again, I'm not like a nutritionist or a dietitian. I don't have any formal degree in nutrition, but this system works because it has worked for me. It has worked for every single person that I've shared this system with. And that's why I went ahead and created this, because like I just discussed this plan of teaching your child like a sustainable thing. This is again a sustainable thing where you're not required to quit eating completely. You can eat whatever it is that you want, but you eat in moderation. And that's what I have shared in this. Eat whatever it is, that because you cannot live a life where you are constantly starving yourself just to look good. That is not something that you want. And you know what happens with all these diet crash courses, that you lose all your weight and then you start eating and then you put on all your weight. And it's so demotivating because you spent 2 3 months not eating, and the minute you eat something, it all comes back and you feel really depressed. So again, to take away all that depression and stress from your life, if you follow this plan, you are definitely going to lose weight, and you are not going to feel unhappy, or you're not going to feel difficult about how to lose weight. Just one video and a downloadable PDF where I've shared the options that you can try and the system that I followed to lose all my pregnancy weight. And I had gained 22 kgs when I was pregnant. So I gained a lot. Like I think I was hitting 79 or something when I was pregnant. And I lost all my weight in 6 months just following this system. So that's pregnancy weight management. Then there is one-on-one with Riddhi. So initially I used to do a lot of free calls, but now because the community has become really big, I have so many followers on Instagram, which is actually a very great thing. But it becomes very difficult for me to give custom solutions to everybody for free on the phone because of time and bandwidth issues. So now I have this one-on-one with Riddhi where you can actually call me and you can get like a customized plan or solution for the problem that you're facing. And that's one-on-one with Riddhi. Then this is A to Z of Instagram. This is not anything to do with parenting. This is about how to build your influence on Instagram, because a lot of us are mothers and we have to take a break from work, and then we feel very lost and depressed and we don't know what to do. And yes, so all of these digital products are pre-recorded, and you'll have lifetime access to all of these courses. You can watch them multiple times and you can show it to your kids also multiple times. There is no like time limit to these courses, and they're all pre-recorded. But there's this comment section where you can type in any queries that you have, and I try and respond to all the questions that I get mostly. And so Instagram is about trying to build your influence on Instagram, because this is what I have done during my break, and it really worked well for me, and it has helped me do a lot in terms of sharing my experience as a parent and helping other parents and mothers. So if there is a topic that you are really interested in and you want to build a business out of it, and you want to build your influence on Instagram and actually monetize your time on the digital space, then this is the perfect course for you. This is everything that you need to know about Instagram. I've made these into a short series of 30 to 40 videos, and if you follow these steps, like every video is one step that you need to take, and if you take these 30 40 steps, you will definitely be able to build your influence on Instagram. Exactly what I have done, and exactly how I have got you guys to this webinar. Most of you have come from either my parenting group on WhatsApp or Telegram or Instagram. So like the Instagram is very powerful if used correctly. So that's what I've shared now, because a lot of mothers don't want to do digital products, which I feel should not be the case, because digital products are great. Learning does happen really beautifully in the digital space. If you are giving screen time, then you might as well replace it with educative screen time. But I've still come up with like uh, physical products, and I've invested a lot of time and energy creating this, brainstorming with the design team. They have designed it, but I have been very closely involved in the ideation process, and this product looks beautiful. It's phenomenal, and the box can be reused for a lot of other things. So this is level 1 flashcard, then there's level 2 flashcard, and I price these really well. Like it's much cheaper compared to other products that you'll see in the market for the quality that I'm giving. And level 2 is again a set of flashcards, and the beauty about these flashcards is that the back side of the flashcard has the picture, and the child can actually color those images. So it's not like they're just learning what a pineapple, but they're also engaging and spending some time with each word when they're coloring that word. So that's and the last two is the activity books, know your letters and know your numbers. So these are activity workbooks, and these are all distraction free workbooks where true learning will really happen. An amazing phenomenal response I've gotten. So these are all the products that I've created to make your life very easy, and you can choose to take whatever it is that you want to, but not in this webinar, because this was completely a value information webinar. I just wanted to let you know about the products that I've created, and I really hope that you got some value from this webinar and you enjoyed it. And now I'll just like to take a few questions from you and try to answer your questions. So let's start, and let's see. If you have any questions, you can let me know in the comments, or you can also use the Q&A. Yeah, wow, I have so many questions already. Nice. So I'll just go sequence wise, and we'll see whatever questions I can answer for the next 20 minutes. I would do more, but today I also have a live Instagram live at 8 o'clock. I had cancelled twice, and today I didn't have the heart to cancel on him again. So I have to. So for 20 minutes, I'm going to do as many questions as I can. Bansi, my boy don't want to write. How can I develop interest in writing? So number one thing that you have to do is you have to not force your child. The more you force, the more you're going to push away your child from the activity. So don't force your child. The best way to do it is every day when your child is watching you, you sit and draw something or write something in front of your child. And when they see their parents doing it, they usually have this tendency of copying you. So your child is eventually going to do it, provided you don't force your child. So just relax and don't worry. Want to share something with you. I'm living in a joint family. Me, my husband, and my mother and father-in-law, and my sister-in-law. Problem is, my father-in-law always watches TV in the hall, and there are and only there put a bed mattress, and there only whatever she's awake, she's always stay there only. I telling them that please don't continue. But after hearing scolded me like anything, now I stop telling anything. I know they will understand. I am fed up. So see, Jyoti, this is like a very personal thing. See, you cannot force people to listen to you or change their lifestyle for you or for your child. So you have to change things for yourself. So if you want your child to not sit there, you have to figure out a way of creating a space that's very attractive and engaging for your child. So create a corner in your house which is very attractive, put things that she really likes in that corner so that she's actually attracted and she wants to come and spend more time in that space, and then you can actually do those activities with her. But definitely if he's scolded you and if he's not willing to understand, there's no point discussing this further with him and making things worse for yourself and for him. So you have to sort of try and create a space where you can actually make it very attractive for her, and do some sticker activities very engaging for kids. Do sticker activity, water play, make boats and float it in the water. So do things that she'll be forced to come to, and slowly you'll see that her interest from that space will reduce and she'll be forced to come to your space. So make your space more attractive. So that's the suggestion that I have for you. कितने ज़्यादा वॉल्यूम देकर देखा है. Her dad also like this only if he is not eating. कि मोबाइल और टीवी and it's like मैं हर दिन लड़ती हूँ अभी 5-6 डोज क्या. So Jyoti, like there's no need to fight. Don't expect anything from anybody. I would recommend that you take this course, Easy Stress Management. It tells you how you should actually move away from unhelpful patterns of thought and stop expecting things from others. Because when you do that, you'll only make things worse for yourself. So stop. Complaining is fine, and I understand your situation is difficult and it's very natural to complain, but compulsive complaining is not going to change things for you. It's going to just make things worse for you. Instead, you should focus your energy on finding strategies and ways of improving your overall environment for the child, and it will happen. And don't expect anything, because clearly it's very evident that if you are expecting, it's only resulting in a fight. So there's no point discussing this with anybody. Hi, Amon. So I think I'll give you a recording of this. I'll upload it on YouTube and give a link. How to handle a demanding child. All kids are demanding, they have their demands, but you have to sometimes listen to their demands. Sometimes you have to be firm and strict and not give in. And if they are crying and getting their way out every single time, then that's a pattern that you need to break, because kids are very smart and they understand, that this strategy is working, and then they do it every single time. Whatever questions you have, can you please put it in a Q&A section, because it's getting confusing for me to switch between the chat and the Q&A. Then so yeah, sometimes you give in and sometimes you have to be firm and say no, depending on what your child is demanding or wanting. What about outdoor play slot? So yeah, because this I had focused on teaching, I did not include the outdoor play slot, but that's definitely a must. So outdoor play, definitely, like even though it's COVID, I'm giving my child like half an hour of park time, because it's very difficult for them to stay inside all the time. So definitely a big yes to that, Priya. Yoga again, yeah, it's a good slot, but it's not very easy for us to get kids to do yoga. But if you feel that your child is into yoga and does yoga, then definitely it's amazing. You should. Can we join your WhatsApp parenting group? Yes, Chetna, you can definitely join my. If you have come through Instagram, then you can send me a direct message and I'll give you the link to my this thing WhatsApp too. I get impatient while teaching my daughter and she is just 3, but the pressure of schoolwork is so much. Like every day they teach something new. I don't know how to make her learn all that. She gets confused with the numbers and all, and I teach her. So again, you just follow this 10-minute slot, and you are going to be able to do it. And if there is too much school work and too much pressure, you don't put that pressure on your child. You let her learn things at her own pace. She statistically, if you see, at the age of 6, all kids are at the same level almost. They know, do, and speak almost the same language. So there is no need to take pressure. The whole point of this strategy is to not take any pressure and to be able to teach your child. Suppose on one day I give my son an outline figure of apple to color. So should I give him only red color or all other? You give him all colors. You can tell him apple is red and green. But if he wants to choose another color, let him color. The idea is to teach them how to color, not what color goes where. So it's fine if they're using different colors. Like the other day, my son colored a mango and it was like shaded like a rainbow. He put all colors in it. So that's okay. Don't sort of impede their creativity. Let them do things their way and let them be creative. My child will not want to leave few slots in 10 minutes, like playing with clay and dancing. I have a 3-month-old baby. 3-year old wants to keep switching to alphabets. So if she is wanting to do it for more than 10 minutes, so let her do it. But if you are finding it difficult to spend more than 10 minutes with her, maybe you can do 10 minutes with her and let her do for the remaining 10-15 minutes. And Jyoti, the best way to reduce screen time is to stop giving them the phone or the screen by not making it visible, out of sight, out of mind. If you show them the phone and expect them not to take it, that's not going to happen, because kids are very smart and it's a very smart thing that they do. When they see the phone, they know it's interesting, they like it and they want it, and they are very very adamant and they find their way of getting it. So it's actually a good sign that the child is signaling that I get what I want and I'm very very this thing committed to the things that I want. So that's not the only way you can stop this, is by not showing them the phone. Is not interested in writing and all, somehow feel principal script is not from, he doesn't want to do coloring, scribbling, anything. Paridhi, again, give them time. Your son is going to write eventually. Every day, you as a mother, you have to keep trying, and one day suddenly they'll start doing, like walking. You don't do much, then suddenly they decide, and every child starts to walk at a different age. So they'll do it when they want to do it. You cannot force them to do anything. That's the beauty about children. You cannot force them. So you keep drawing in front of him. Even if he's not drawing, you should scribble something on a white paper every day, so that he understands, okay, this is interesting, and that's why my mom is doing it every day. If I teach my son something, okay, I'm going to do only 9 more minutes till 7, and then I need a break before my Instagram live. And then whatever other questions we'll have, we'll do it in the next webinar. If I teach my son something related to life, on the other hand, my mother-in-law teaches something else for the same thing. I get frustrated and just yell on him. So how should I tell him that what is right? It affects my relationship with my husband as well. See, Neha, like if you are teaching something and your mother-in-law is teaching something, don't get frustrated. It's not the kid's fault at all. Like you guys are sending him different signals. So you cannot blame the child or yell at the child or scream at him, because obviously the child is just absorbing information from different directions and is doing whatever is easier for him. So, if your mother-in-law's instructions are easy to follow, your child is always going to go with that. And that's true not for children, not just for children, but even for us as adults. If we get two suggestions, we'll always go with the easier choice, and we'll just follow that through. So number one, you have to be committed that you're not going to get frustrated. So you have to make a mental note that no matter what happens, you're not going to get frustrated. And if you're discussing this with your husband, I think you should quit discussing this with your husband, because imagine, like, if somebody comes and tells you bad things about your mother or tells you things about your mother, you'll not take it in a very good way. And it's the same for our husbands. If you go and say something that's not very appropriate for the mother to your husband, he's not going to take it in a very positive way, and he might react, and this will definitely spoil your relationship with your husband. So even if you feel like discussing this with somebody, it should not be your husband, it can be somebody else. So don't say negative things about his mother to him, because it's going to affect your relationship with him for sure. And that's not a very good thing to do also, I feel, because we take our husbands for granted. When they say things about our parents, we feel so bad and offended, but we expect them to sit and listen to us saying things about their parents, which I feel is not fair. So if you want to discuss it with a friend or whosoever, if you want to get it out of your system. And if you are teaching something, trust me, even if your child is surrounded by 100 other people, the major influence on your child is going to be yours. So there is nothing to be worried about. If you are a good person, if you are teaching him right things, your child is going to grow up and be a very nice person. So there's nothing to be. I've grown up in a joint family and all of us were very different. We had different philosophies in life, but the most influence that I have on myself is from my mother. But I was listening to other pieces of information as well, and getting things from other people as well. So like, don't worry, it's going to be you who'll have the major influence on your child. What to do, ma'am, if he throws tantrums, if you say no to anything he wants to do? You have to be first, you have to start ignoring your child, not give in to constant crying. Sometimes if it becomes very irritating for you, just leave the room. So as parents, what we do, that we always are so worried about our child that we forget about our mental peace. But you need your mental peace as well. So if you feel that the crying is becoming too much for you to handle and you are going to get irritated and you are going to scream at your child, then just leave the room, give your child some space, surprise your child. And kids also get surprised, if they are always crying and you are attending to them and listening to them, they understand that this is a pattern. If I cry, my mom is going to come to me. But next time, if your child is crying and throwing a tantrum, just surprise your child by leaving the room, and your child will be like, what just happened? This did not work this time. And you do it a few times and they'll understand, okay, this strategy is not going to work anymore. My crying is not going to give me whatever it is that I want. This is a strategy that I need to change now. And your child is going to change that strategy and is going to stop crying for everything. So you have to change your action if you want a different result. That's like a mantra. Change your actions if you want a different result. Don't keep doing the same thing and keep expecting different results. That is something that will not happen. होम स्कूलिंग के लिए प्रॉपर कॉर्नर डिकोर कर सकते हैं क्या? Yes, of course, Nilesh, you can and you should. If you have a nice attractive space, you should create. Like for me, I personally have a very plain space because I don't like to add too much jazz to my space, because I feel that it leads to a lot of distraction and less learning. So I keep it very clean, just one table, one chair, and whatever it is that I want to teach him, I just put those things on his table. So that's the strategy that I follow. But if you want to create a cute corner in your space, then you can definitely do that. Recent betting habits. Ma'am, my 4-year-old never listened to me, but when I shout at him, he listen some otherwise. So if that is the strategy that's working for you, then yeah, I think you can stick to it. But yeah, shouting can work now, but it's not going to work eventually. So yeah, so you can try that. But if he's like, if you think that you're, see, sometimes shouting is also important. You cannot be just good to them all the time. If you feel that they are just crossing the line too much, you have to be a little strict as a parent to get them back within limits. And that I don't mean in a bad way, but in a good way. If they are throwing like my son, in between, what he started doing was he started throwing things from the balcony outside. Okay, he was around 3 and he started throwing things. So that was really difficult. You can't be throwing things from the house and just breaking everything. So I had to be very strict with him and I had to tell him that you cannot do that. That's just not acceptable. So sometimes as a parent you need to be strict, but try and not do it too often. My child is 3. She doesn't seem to like numbers and alphabets. I see so many kids on Instagram and always wonder how in my anxiety normal. So yeah, anxiety is normal, but try and move away from this feeling of competition and comparing. Every child is different. Your child might be very good at other things, and that is what you should focus on. If your child is good at something, you should try and focus your energy in trying to improve that skill that she has. and work on that. And numbers and alphabets, like I said, even if you cannot teach your child, she's eventually going to learn, because if you have to stay in this world, you have to know the numbers and the letters of the English alphabet. So that's not, and that's the easiest thing to teach actually. So there is no need to worry, your child will learn. So don't feel anxious. Read books and make sure that she's communicating properly, she's showing interest in different things. If she's dancing, then work on her dancing, singing skills. So try and focus your energy on the skill set that she has and not on the skills that are missing. How to handle anger in my child. So again, you have to first understand what is causing the anger and what is leading to that anger. And then you have to try and fix that. And if you can fix that, the reason for the anger, if you can fix that, then you'll be able to stop the anger happening. You can stop your child getting angry. So you have to first understand, and there's a pattern that you'll see, certain things will make them angry and certain things, will not make them angry. So what are those things that are really making your child angry is what you have to first figure out, and then you have to try and fix those things. And when you do that, you'll be able to handle this. Ma'am, my daughter is 2.45 years. How do I begin teaching her? What should I teach her first? So start with the new words. So you follow, like 2.5 years can learn everything that I've shared in today's presentation. You can do everything with her. You do 10 minutes of 10 slots of 10 minutes each with your child. Homeschooling के 10 slot कर सकते हैं क्या? Yeah, of course you can do. This is the homeschooling that I'm following with my child. I'm actually sending him to, for he's also going to a preschool. Now, right now the classes are happening online, but that's just 30 minutes, 35 minutes. But other than that, I'm just doing these 10 slots of 10 minutes each with my child, and I'm seeing the difference. Like I've seen the difference during the lockdown. So this strategy really works. You can definitely do if you feel that your child is interested, and if you have more time, then you can actually increase the number of slots, or you can increase the time per slot. So it's a flexible model based on your schedule. But like I've given 10 slots of 10 minutes each because I want the system to work for everybody, irrespective of the setup that they are in and irrespective of the personal professional commitments that you have. So this system works irrespective of the environment that you're in. It's difficult to teach color recognition to my son. How to teach that? So Sangeeta, I'm not sure what the age is, but trust me, color recognition will happen. It's not like, my son also took some time to learn colors, but they suddenly learn and you not even realize. So what you have to do is every day you have to keep repeating, this is yellow, this is red, pass me a red apple, can you pass me this green book? So do that, like instead of sitting with cards and telling them this is green, this is red, this is black, you relate it with different objects. Can you pass me my black phone? And you do this every day. Can you pass me my black phone? Can you pass me that red apple? Can you pass me that yellow banana? So when they are doing it as a instruction, then it gets registered more easily. I feel that's the strategy I use, and it really worked. He makes me impatient. If I become irritated, I control myself also, but also lose the patience. So Dimple, yeah, it's very natural for us to lose patience, but this is a commitment that you'll have to make. Again, easy parenting formula is the right video series that you must take. Anybody who's feeling this irritation, losing control, patience, and getting angry, all these things, if you're feeling, then I highly recommend that you go through this video series, easy parenting formula. Your life will change, your strategies will change, you'll have so much productive time, you'll be happier, your child will be happier, you'll share a beautiful relationship with your child, because your whole mindset and the way you look at things will change for you. So definitely go for this program, and all my courses are very, very well priced, and it's an investment. So when you invest in knowledge, you're investing in something that stays with you forever, and nobody can take that away from you. So no matter how much you invest in your learning, that's the best investment that you can make. Okay, so guys, now it's 7:02, so I'll have to end this webinar. I'm really, really grateful that all of you stayed till the end, and I'm overwhelmed by the response that I've received. So with that, I'll end this webinar, and I'm sorry if I couldn't take a few questions, because there are so many questions, and I have an Instagram live today at 8 o'clock. Otherwise, I would have tried and answered more questions. So, okay, I've seen this, so I'm going to quickly. The stress of admissions in schools is very much trending in Ludhiana, Punjab. How to overcome that as a parent? So, Shreya, actually, every school, every city, not just Ludhiana, everywhere the stress is there. And trust me, like initial ages, there is not like there's no need to take too much stress. You eventually, like, our kids will do well. And it's not about the school. It's definitely a little important, but it's not like the end of your life. Like my husband, he went to a school in Alwar till he was in class 8, and right now he's doing really well in life. So it's not like, it's not like the end of life if you're going to a small school or a school that's not like called the best school. And I don't even know who decides what the best school is, right? It's just like marketing and labels that we give. But every school has their own philosophy, and every school tries to do their best in terms of teaching their kids. So it's not like, if you send your child to a school that is not called like the best school, it's not the best school. It's going to be the best school provided you think it's the best school. So it's all in the mind. If you think that your child is going to the best school and is learning a lot, and if you are as a parent contributing a lot to your child's education, then whatever school your child is going to is the best school for him or her. And they all come with their destiny. And I believe that everything, the school that they go to, it's all destined, because they're destined to meet a certain set of people, they're destined to meet a certain set of friends. So it's their destiny, and there's not much that you can do as a parent. So if you are not being able to send your child to the best school, it's completely okay, let it be. You just focus on teaching your child, and your child is going to learn. So there's no pressure at all. So with that, I really hope you guys loved it. And if you want more webinars, can you please type more in the comment section below, and then we'll do different topics. I'll probably do a poll and get topics from you. Okay, thank you so much. I love the energy, and I love the fact that you guys gave me so much time on a Sunday evening. It means a lot to me. And wish you happy parenting. Please don't stress. Enjoy your journey. Have tea and do your best as a parent, and just relax. Yes, thank you so much.